Orange Bowl, and you can see how quickly Kosar took the Canes in for their second touchdown. Seelig kicks it off, and again it is fielded by one of the short men, and he is brought down at the 27-yard line.
Let's take a look and see what happened. The circled player is number 17, Tony Thurman, the leading interceptor in the country with 10. But watch as he makes a mistake, and he moves to his right. Kosar reads it. You see him, he should be center fielding here. And Kosar drills the ball so fast and hard in there, Thurman cannot get back. And that is a touchdown. Almost the same mistake that was made by Miami when Boston College scored.
Doug Flutie brings the Eagles to the line of scrimmage at the 29. Throws on first down. Incomplete, and the ball should have been caught by Ken Bell.
There, you just mentioned the same mistake being made. That's what happens, though, when you're throwing the ball around. We saw Eddie Brown catch a number of receivers from number of balls from Kosar, allow that tight end to not get as much attention.
But, you know, the thing about it, Pat, is the very thing that both coaches talked about defensively was to avoid the big play, stay in a 3 deep, give them shelter. But they've been burned twice, each team.
Whoops. Comes back to the other side. Complete. And that time it went to his running back Bell, and he held on. Reggie Sutton was the corner, but not until Bell had picked up 17 yards and a first down for the Eagles.
When you watch Doug Flutie play the game of football, you always have a smile on your face because he's always going to do something like this. Here, you can't, this is just athletic ability. The impromptu play, it's very difficult to defend. You're going to have some defensive breakdowns. He has a marvelous knack of finding open receivers.
The outside linebacker, Cortez, did not contain. He dropped back into coverage, and of course that gave Flutie that opportunity.
They run on first down. Stratford up the middle, and that is only the second time in this game that BC has gone to the run on first down. And a big round of applause as the haze starts to lift over downtown Miami. Someone upstairs wants to get a better view of these two guys as they move up and down the field here.
You're right. Look at the all-time passers as they entered today. Of course, Flutie on top now has that chance of going over the 10,000-yard mark. It's pretty good company.
2nd and 1. Stratford banging for another first down.
It's amazing what head coaches at Notre Dame can do. The weather, I mean, it's just remarkable to me.
Well, I want
Look at that sun off of those golden helmets down there. Doesn't he love it?
Well, this is not going to be a defensive battle, that's for sure.
When did you figure that out?
You want to go out and
when you guys gave me the defensive responsibility.
Ball is at the 42 now on first down. And right out to the side it goes to Stratford. Out of bounds inside the 35, but there's a penalty flag down.
Boy, Troy Stratford had a bad hamstring coming into the football game, and you really saw the effects of it there, Brent. He just could not really take off on that leg. Again, let's take a look at Troy Stratford. He has not practiced all week because it was so cold up in Boston. Now watch, he just can't really, you can see him limping there a little bit. He's trying to get out of bounds. Whap, he takes a hit, pushes him out of bounds. Dallas Cameron knocked him out.
I must not be sure either.
That's the gentlemen who are huddling down there trying to get this infraction straightened out. We're going to bring in one more, I think, for maybe they'll just take a vote.
That's the Democratic way of doing it.
Well, here we come. We're going to get it.
We got a consensus, I think.
Go flag.
All that, huh? Oh, my.
Oh, boy. Johnson is really heated.
Guys just want a little airtime, I guess.
So it's a first down for BC and Doug Flutie. The ball is at the Miami 30-yard line as they pick up 10 yards on that last play. Ken Bell replaces Stratford. He's the tailback. Flutie sprints to the left, outruns the defender, and picks up 7 or 8 yards. Kevin Fagan was moving in on Flutie, and he just accelerated around him and got out of bounds. Shades of Francis Tarkenton on that one.
Oh, you're right. But you have to play a very disciplined defense when you play Doug Flutie, because he can do that. How many times have we seen Doug Flutie run that naked bootleg play where he fakes to a tailback or on a sweep and then gets outside containment and makes all sorts of good things happen. Barry Gallup, he's the offensive coordinator for BC. Very close, the man who recruited Doug Flutie.
Stratford is back at tailback. Throws a beautiful block to give Flutie some throwing time, incomplete and almost intercepted. And Kenny Calhoun was the defender for the Canes.
Amazing thing about both quarterbacks today is they have not thrown many interceptions.
Good coverage this time, as you see. Ken Calhoun, number 2, will get right in the perfect position. It looks like Flutie's got his receiver right there. He almost intercepted the ball. Good coverage on the part of Miami.
And there's a penalty against the Hurricanes.
Face mask against Miami.
And a first down for the Eagles, who are inside the 20-yard line as a result of that infraction, and Coach Johnson is getting more and more upset by the minute.
He's trying to figure out how to stop this ball club, and no one else has done it, Jim. You're just going to have to outscore them.
They'll go to one running back in this formation. Strahan off the left side on the slant to the 15-yard line. Bruce Fleming, linebacker for the Canes, was one of those who applied the hit. It'll be second down for Flutie. The ball resting on the 15-yard line. Casparillo, the BC tight end, set to the right. Stratford is back. Stratford slipped a bit as he got inside the 10-yard line. Has to get to the 8 for a first down, and Calhoun brought him down. It'll be a short yardage formation sent in now by Coach Jack Bicknell and the Eagles.
I think it was last week when they got hooked up with Syracuse in a tough ball game in bad weather conditions. Boston College demonstrated that they can run the football when they need to. But the versatility, of course, of Flutie gives them a tremendous dimensions in both phases of the game, running and passing.
You're right, Aaron. I think it surprised an awful lot of people. BC ran for, 270 yards last week against a very good Syracuse defense.
Exactly right.
Third and 1 for Flutie and the Eagles.
This is a situation when they like to give the ball to Strahan over the top. He's been very successful.
Interesting, Pat, because they switch him to the tail. Fake him that time. Flutie wants to throw it. Gets past Fagan. Has the first down, and I think he dove for the touchdown. He did. He is remarkable.
How do you defend that?
You know, Pat, forget whether or not he can ever play in the NFL. You and I were talking about that this morning.
He is a great college football. All the talk is about whether he can play professional football. That's not the point. It's irrelevant. The point is he's one of the greatest college football players of all time, the most exciting player that I've ever seen, and that's what's at issue. He may or may not have a successful pro career, but that's what now we're concerned with today.
Kevin Snow to attempt the extra point for the Eagles. They've jumped right back into a 7-point lead.
I mentioned that on short yardage, Boston College generally likes to give the ball to number 33, Steve Strahan. And here he does. He fakes it to him over the top, and Flutie is out on the corner again. This is a very dangerous place for Doug Flutie to be defensively. Shows some strength. He breaks the tackle there. He knows where the end zone is.
Good block by Kenny Bell, 24, sealing up on the defensive back.
Giving that extra effort makes winners be all you can be. Brought to you by the U.S. Army. Boston College quarterback Doug Flutie never lets his size hinder his ambition or his performance. A leading Heisman Trophy candidate, New England's little big man has shattered all the BC passing records and now has set his sights on the NCAA career marks. Flutie, a speech communications major, has spoken out in volunteer campaigns to help curb drunken driving and drug abuse. Doug Flutie strives to be the best he can be.
Do you have anything in aviation?
The Army's most technical training
Are there any openings in communications?
is also the Army's most popular training.
I'd really like computers.
So it pays to have a reservation.
Electronics.
If you qualify, you can get a guaranteed reservation for the training you want up to 12 months in advance, even if you're still in high school.
We'll see you after graduation.
It's great.
Thank you. Congratulations.
College basketball returns to CBS Sports with a matchup of the traditional powers. The Louisville Cardinals take on Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, where the Boston College Eagles have just come back and regained the lead on the Hurricanes of Miami. That's the time remaining in the first half, and now it is Mr. Kosar's turn to go to work against that Eagle defense. 21-14 in the first half already. J.C. Penney is back deep with Darrell Oliver. This is Penney. Out to the 18-yard line.
You know, from a coaching perspective, I think that I would have wanted Flutie to throw the ball to Ken Bell. Number 24, you see how open he is right there? Right there is Flutie, number 22. Now he runs the ball, and you take a risk. You take the risk of an injury. Now, Flutie is a great runner and a tough little guy, but why take the risk? He could have thrown the ball to Bell.
Those coaches always want to take the fun out of it.
Don't they? I know. It's
I want to see the guy dive in the end zone, right?
I'll tell you.
Yeah, but Ken Bell wanted the ball.
Kosar's turn for the Hurricanes. First down. Off the fake to Williams. He draws time. And he has got Stanley Shakespeare all alone. A coverage mistake inside the 40, the 35, and down to the 32-yard line. Stanley Shakespeare and Neil Eiton finally brought him down after a 49-yard gain. Kosar to Shakespeare.
Brent, when you said coverage mistake, you're absolutely right. Remember all the balls that Eddie Brown, number 40, has caught today? Oh, here's what happens when you start getting concerned with Eddie Brown. The other wide receiver, the flanker, number 6, Stanley Shakespeare. Now, there should have been a linebacker or somebody there in the middle of the field to try to take that away. There was nobody there. There was a big hole. And Kosar, again, with the eyes, he always has the vision. He finds the open man on the field. He spreads the ball around, too, as well.
And he has hit 7 in a row after missing his first 3 passes today for a total of 143 yards. There's that deep drop. He sets the screen with it, and there's Bratton. Bratton breaks a tackle and gets to the 25-yard line. David Pereira, the strong safety, brings him down. He's 3 yards short of a first down.
But you have to like the play selection by Miami. They'll go downtown, come up with a big play downfield like we saw to Shakespeare. Then you're concerned about that. The next thing they do is come out and throw a little finesse at you, a little screen pass after you're dropping deep to try to take away the big play. Good play selection by Miami.
Bratton on the sweep to the right for the first down, steps inside the 15 and then takes on a defender inside the 10, and Bill Thompson finally brings him down. 17-yard run by Bratton, and now the Canes are knocking on the door again. The last team to handle the ball may win this. And speaking of handling the ball, it's the season premiere of NCAA basketball on CBS tomorrow. It's a good one. 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Louisville, coached by Denny Crum, against Indiana and Bobby Knight. And we'll hear from Frank Lieber at halftime of this game. He'll be there covering for us tomorrow. Here it is, first and goal for Kosar and the Canes, and he'll put it up. Touchdown, Miami. Warren Williams out of the backfield.
I want to tell you, that is one fantastic catch and throw.
I thought I had an interception. It was very close. What a job Kosar did there. Got that ball in there. I don't know how he got it there.
Greg Cox hits this extra point. It'll be 21 all with 7:38 to go in the first half. And that's what it is.
Boston College's defensive game plan was to drop back and play coverage. And here you're going to see what happens. You're going to give Bernie Kosar a little bit too much time. They have a four-man rush there, but they can't get to Kosar. He's looking for receivers. He buys himself a little bit more time and really throws off balance and still was able to get enough on the ball. And a beautiful catch by number 24, Warren Williams, out of the backfield. This drive saw a lot of different type of plays. A big pass play to Stanley Shakespeare, a screen pass, and now the big catch by Williams.
Test pilot Chuck Yeager for AC Delco.
This flight doesn't get scrubbed for bad weather. A high-performance fighter has the technology to handle it. So does this, the all-weather Delco Freedom Battery, with the power to start you in the cold and the technology to beat the heat. And you never add a drop of water. Never wait for trouble. Get the all-weather Delco Freedom Battery.
From $39.95 for a Series 40, call 800 AC Delco.
Don't believe everything you hear about the revolutionary new Volkswagen Jetta. The rumors about its roominess.
Want a lift?
The exaggerations about its German road car handling. And its trunk space. The one about the Volkswagen Jetta costing $79.94. It's $79.95. We hope this brings all those wild exaggerations to an end. Jetta, it's not a car, it's a Volkswagen.
The ball is being teed for Mark Seelig as the official wipes it off one more time. And set back deep, Tyrone Taylor and Steve Williams with Bernie Kosar throwing the final 8 yards of that drive. He was 3 of 3 for 64 yards. So he passed for 64 of the 81 yards. Now it's about to be Flutie's turn again. This one bounds out of the end zone. It'll come out on the 20-yard line.
Brent, this touchdown is an almost. As you watch Chuck Gorecki come from the right side of the screen, almost gets to Kosar. Watch him come right here. He has plenty of time right there. And almost now, Todd Russell almost knocks the ball down, but it was too well executed on the part of the offense. Defense wasn't that bad.
A lot of almosts on his defense.
Well, that'll get you beat, won't it? A lot of almosts.
Here's Doug Flutie with his 5th possession. He has 3 touchdowns and 1 punt, as does Bernie Kosar. Stratford is the tailback. They'll throw again on first down. Complete. And that's Gerald Phelan, Doug Flutie's roommate and his favorite target at BC.
Harry, you really have to enjoy the play selection by both these coaches, both these staffs. Again, we talked about them spreading the ball around. Phelan catches his 2nd pass today. Both quarterbacks doing a marvelous job of getting the ball to backs and getting the ball downfield, change of paces with some screen passes and some draws and traps.
And also the beautiful quick release that Flutie has.
Flutie needs just 11 yards now to pass 10,000 yards passing. Hands off that time to Stratford, who was brought down after a yard gain.
There's a celebration if you stop them for one play.
I was about to say, those defensive coaches are terribly excited about that. Steve Williams checks in at tailback, and they right away flank him out to the left. Strahan, the lone running back behind Flutie on this 2nd down. Complete to Martin. A beautiful catch at the 49-yard line. gives Flutie 10,008 yards passing, the first college quarterback to throw for more than 10,000 yards in his career.
The coverage is not that bad, as you can see here, but Flutie just drills that ball. It's a great catch, but the defense is not that bad.
It's good offense.
They'll favor the pass on first down, and this time they'll go to the run with Troy Stratford.
Well, I'll tell you what, not only have we seen great quarterbacking here in this first half, but we've seen some remarkable catches there. We just saw one by Martin. Remember, we saw a great touchdown catch by Williams, and Eddie Brown's come up with some great receptions as well.
Well, of course, Sunday afternoon on the NFL, there's a doubleheader on CBS. Philadelphia St. Louis is the big first game. The two second games are San Francisco and New Orleans, and Chicago against Minnesota. The Bears can wrap up a divisional title if they win. This is second down for Flutie, and there was a penalty marker down, and the whistle had blown before the play began.
Illegal procedure.
That is Jack Bicknell signaling the formation. Now, that is not the play he is sending into Flutie. Martin delivered the play from the sideline to Flutie. He comes off, but it is the coach who will give Doug the formation. This is a very complex offensive system that BC uses, and we see Doug go to the shotgun for the first time. Martin, fumble. Miami's ball. Bruce Fleming and Tolbert Bain responsible for that turnover.
This is what Miami was hoping for. Try to force Boston College to throw the ball underneath in front of the coverage, come up and be able to rally around the football, cause a couple of fumble recoveries or perhaps interceptions. But watch how Flutie's allowed to step up in the pocket and drill the ball right on the numbers to Martin. And then he tries to secure the ball, but Bain, number 18, strips him of the ball, and there's Fullington to make the recovery.
You can see here how wide open he is. There's a big hole right in here, and of course Flutie steps in, makes a great pass, but there is the kind of defense that you need. Good contact and a turnover.
And the first turnover in the game. And Kosar will throw on first down to Eddie Brown inside the 40-yard line as he slid into the 37 with a completed pass.
Bernie Kosar said, and we said at the top of the show, he wanted to get the ball to his outside receivers. He's done that here in the first half very effectively. Many times to Eddie Brown and, of course, to Shakespeare as well. This time, watch how he drills that football low and away. There's no way that ball is going to sail on him and get picked off. Eddie Brown, again, finds a dead spot right in front of the safeties.
24-yard gain, and Kosar has completed 10 straight. Run Bratton. There's an alley on the left. Out of bounds at about the 27-yard line.
Era, you and I were talking about this earlier in the week. Can you remember in a college situation a better matchup between quarterbacks?
I don't think I've seen this kind of matchup. As a matter of fact, in my day when I was coaching, if you met one or two great passers and maybe in a 10 or 11 game schedule, that was about it. But today, these passers and receivers are so skilled, I think it's put undue pressure on the defense. You cannot stop these teams. I don't know how you can with 11 people.
Well, you know, you're
out
absolutely right. I think 10 years ago or so when I was playing and you were coaching, a defensive coach could rely on a quarterback to make a bad throw or overthrow a receiver to disrupt a drive. But nowadays, as you said, they're so skilled, they're just not going to miss those throws.
Time left in the first half. Do you know that 7 of 11 times this year, Kosar has thrown for better than 300 yards?
He's a remarkable performer. Very nice young man, very bright.
He sends Bratton into a slot for the first time on this first down. Fumble. BC's ball. Number 50 of Boston College, David Thomas.
He turned the ball right back to Doug Flutie in Boston College. Just looked like an audible by Kosar. He was going to run the ball here, and Bosa, number 97, really stripped him of the ball. And there's number 50, David Thomas, to make the recovery. But both teams had turned the ball over to opposing quarterbacks.
Tied at 21 here in the first half of the Orange Bowl. Jack Bicknell and the Eagles go back on the offense. 4:54 to go. Asperilla in motion. Flutie flush to the right. Throws a completion to Phelan. He is run out at the 42 by Sutton.
You never quite know where Doug Flutie is going to end up. This play was designed for him to drop back in the pocket and try to find a receiver. But again, you cannot defend the impromptu play. He can't find anybody right there, so he turns and spins. And he's got the quickness and speed to get away from a rush. And that's what gives his receivers like Phelan an opportunity just to find an open spot.
There was no contain on the left side. And that was the big problem. It allowed Flutie to come back to the outside. You've got to keep him squeezed in.
2nd and 1. Here's Stratford. Has the first down.
You know,
They'll have the ball at the 45.
One thing, Era, that I've noticed against BC, what I would try to do a little bit, I think, with Flutie, is really give him some inside rush. We've seen Flutie step up into the pocket a couple of times and hit the receivers over the middle. I would like to see him get a little bit more of an inside rush so he doesn't really have so much open area.
It's a very good point, Pat, and I think you got to contain from the outside. You can't let him scramble out of the pocket. They have been void of a contained man. He immediately senses it, feels it, and takes it.
They run the delay and get nowhere. Stratford, the ball carrier that time. And there's a penalty flag down in the secondary.
You know, Era, talking to the BC coaches this week, they really felt offensively they could run a number of reverses against this Miami defense. You just led me to think of that, too, because they are void on one side. They're not containing. That's what they saw in the films and felt they could run a reverse to those sides.
And dropping those outside linebackers, and exactly, if they run a reverse to the side where that fellow's dropped off, look out, they can have big yardage.
And here's what Doug has done so far. 17 to 21 for better than 200 yards, 1 touchdown. He has run for a second. That's a day's work for 98% of the quarterbacks in the game. For Doug Flutie, it's not even a half's work. He's got 4 minutes and 33 seconds to go. And he's a week away from picking up the Heisman Trophy. And he's taken on a young man who's going to be a serious contender next year, and that's Bernie Kosar. On the delay, Strahan bangs back to the 40. But that'll leave the Eagles with a 2nd and 15 as Bruce Fleming, number 58, who has been very active at that linebacking spot, mirroring Doug Flutie in this game. And he has come up with several big tackles for the Canes, although we certainly don't want to stress too many big tackles in this game. It's 21 all in the first half.
Brad, I'll tell you, if I were to go into pro ball, I wouldn't hesitate to take Doug Flutie as my quarterback right now.
Do you have an announcement for us?
No announcement.
Okay.
I'll just tell you I'd take it.
Flutie to throw it on 2nd and 15. And Victor Morris.
Now here's the thing.
Big paw.
Yeah, you're right. And Doug Flutie is sensitive because of all the talk about his height, about getting balls batted down. Now, lots of quarterbacks get passes batted down. Bernie Kosar has had his share as well. But here he just gets pretty good protection. Remember, these guys are pretty large. And it did get tipped there. But it's going to happen to any quarterback in any given game.
Particularly short ones like yourself.
Thank you, Era. I appreciate it. What was the score of that Notre Dame SC game a few years ago?
51 to nothing in 1966, sir.
That's the wrong year. I'm talking about 74.
Flutie to throw it, and there's penalty flags down on both sides. Incomplete. Miami appeared to be offside prior to the snap.
Against Miami, Holding against Boston.
There's the formation sent in by Jack Bicknell.
See what the flapping wing indicates here.
It means, yeah, I could throw a pass and get at least 15 yards, Doug. He
came to BC from Maine, and he has done a remarkable job.
Boy, is he fun to be around, too, isn't he?
Super guy.
Kind of a coach that you'd like your son to play for, I'll tell you that.
It's the best compliment you can give anybody, I think.
Phelan in motion. Flutie flush to the left. He'll keep it. Diving for the first down. It's going to be very close over there. The intelligence of Doug Flutie, Pat, when he saw the yardage marker and where he had to go, Era.
You see, the coverage is excellent, but this is what Flutie can do to you. Everybody drops back. They've got most of the receivers pretty well covered. They jump on a man for man. You can't see Flutie here. He sees it all. No contain again. Nobody squeezes him, and he takes the ball and runs with the football. He reacts perfectly to the circumstances as they occur.
Good defensive coverage there by Miami, but you can't defend the impromptu play of Flutie. You know, Coach, you defend some interesting quarterbacks, George Myra and Roger Staubach, similar type of guys to Flutie. What did you do against them?
I think you got to bring guys hard from the outside, squeeze him in, and bring the people from the inside, Pat, to keep in his face if you possibly can. Drive him back. He gets outside. He's so dangerous. He can both run and throw on the run, and so accurately.
Well, that's how close he came to picking up the full 15 yards for the first down. As he dove, of course, he fumbled the ball out of bounds on that far side.
Looks like Boston College is going to go for it here. They are 6 of 7 this year on 4th down plays.
Let's see how Miami deploys here, whether it'll come to a goal line defense or not.
Strahan and Stratford are the running backs behind Doug. Stratford for the first down. 3:20 on the clock.
BC has all 3 timeouts remaining as well.
Dombrowski checks in as 1 wide receiver, along with Darren Flutie, who is Doug's younger brother. That's him at the bottom of the screen. They'll run on first down with Kenny Bell, and he is stopped and thrown for a loss. Calhoun was coming up from the secondary to help out on the play. Jones hit him first, and it'll be 2nd and 13. Coming up at halftime, we'll have a live report from the Louisville, Indiana game. Frank Lieber is there. Pat O'Brien interviewed Jerry Faust, the Irish coach, and we'll also hear from Lindsey Nelson on the echoes of college football. 2nd and 13. To Phelan. Out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Tolbert Bain with the coverage. 2:18 to go, and another first down for the Eagles.
We said at the top of the show, BC does it by different formations, trying to find soft spots and fooling the defense. There they brought in 4 wide receivers, Brent, and then again Doug just picked the open man. That time he found Phelan.
He makes it look so easy. That's the thing about it. From up here, just his arm is so quick. He delivers right on the money. Looks easy, but it's not. It's a skill that he has.
Throwing again on first down. Drops it off to Stratford. Inside the 20. Ball will be spotted at about the 20-yard line.
Here, watch Doug Flutie after he releases the ball. This is one reason he has stayed healthy in his 4-year career at BC. He's going to release the football and jump away from the defender. Whap, that's a smart kid, I want to tell you. He's been doing that all day. He avoids a lot of punishment that way.
You see the size of his hands on that ball?
Very, very large hands.
For a guy 5'9" and 3/4?
Now you got it right, 3/4.
Here's his second down. incomplete. That one was intended for his younger brother, Darren Flutie.
Doug Flutie's pass intended for Darren Flutie, incomplete.
Third down for the Eagles and a minute 29 left on the clock here in the first half.
Well, they're keeping the officials pretty busy, too, with the way they stretch those defenses and all over the field. They're doing a good job.
Middle is clogged. Comes to the right. Steps out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Another first down.
I want to tell you, if anyone is at home watching without a smile on their face when they're watching Doug Flutie, they ate too much bird yesterday, because this guy is an exciting player. Again, he can't find anything. He's just going to make something happen. And again, no containment from the outside. Era, you have made that point a number of times. He breaks containment, picks up yet another first down.
You know, one of the directors of the Cotton Bowl, Jim Brock, is here, nicknamed a hoss. I think he's enjoying this performance by Doug Flutie.
You'd like to see a lot more of it on January 1st, I think.
He says, if I see Doug go down in a heap and get injured, I'm going to run out there and jump on the stretcher myself and take his place.
I don't blame the hoss.
Here's the first down. Flutie wants Dombrowski back about a yard on the right-hand side. That's what he was motioning for. Deflected and almost intercepted. Incomplete pass. And that was Jerome Brown, number 98.
Well, this is what you need, somebody to knock the ball down. Like, number 98 is 6'2", 255, a sophomore, has great speed. And that time he was able to deflect the ball. Let's take a look at the coverage. Here's another shot of it. Flutie comes back. He's directing traffic. He finally decides just to dump the ball off right there, and it's deflected, knocked down. Almost could have been intercepted right there.
Here's second down from the 10. Strahan trying to get running room to the left side. Battle to the 8-yard line. That's a player the Eagles can ill afford to lose because of an injury. They have been decimated at that fullback position this year.
Right, Jim Brown, their backup fullback, has been hurt. Jim Turner's, their third fullback's a little bumped up too. So Strahan is very strategic in their game plan. An interesting call there on 2nd and 10, though, to run the draw play. I expected there to be a little bit more open, but when you're down in this part of the field, there's not as much room for the defense to drop back. So a draw play is a rather surprising call.
The end zone, and it's complete for the touchdown. He hits Gerald Phelan.
Well, you're not defending him very well, Coach.
I'm telling you, I thought we had it done that time. But he gets the ball there so rapidly, and also it was a great catch by Phelan. That ball was thrown low.
Take a look at, again, Doug Flutie, a third down situation. He's come through his entire career. Again, he breaks containment. There's nobody there from the outside. The ball is really deflected there by number 58, Fleming, and that's why the ball was a little bit low for Phelan.
And Tolbert Bain almost got there.
A deflected pass by a linebacker results in a touchdown. Kevin Snow adds the extra point for BC. You've got 28 seconds to go in the first half. Doug Flutie is now 20 of 27 for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And here's one of those touchdowns right here, a play action fake. Again, he's get very good protection, and you're going to see we're smiling watching Doug Flutie, but he's pretty happy about things as well.
We'll be back at the Orange Bowl with Boston College ahead 28-21.
Big, fast, nimble, durable, versatile. 5,000 new parts, German engineered. Introducing the new Volkswagen Golf, the new definition of hatchbacks. When you work on the new Golf as hard as we have, for as long as we have, everything just falls into place. Golf. It's not a car, it's a Volkswagen.
Kendall Motor Oil protects engines from friction.
To prove how well, we plated ordinary piston rings with pure gold and ran them inside this engine for 5,000 miles. Kendall friction fighters are better than car makers demand. But can Kendall protect even soft gold? Look, no visible wear. That's protection. Friction fighting Kendall motor oil for protection worth its weight in gold.
Tuesday, Angie Dickinson, a politician who pays for love, is trapped in a mystery of passion and murder.
You know who this is.
A touch of scandal. Tuesday.
Can Bernie Kosar score in 28 seconds?
Well, Brett, he did it against Florida. He had 36 seconds left in the game against Florida, put his team down and brought them down for a touchdown. So the answer is yes.
Here's Snow's kickoff for the Eagles. Darrell Oliver, J.C. Penney are set deep. Penney at the 5. Hit hard at about the 18-yard line.
Watch here is number 20, Phelan. He's the end man on the line now. And number 18, Tolbert Bain, is singled on him. He puts a move on him, breaks to the inside. Tolbert can't quite get there because Flutie gets the ball there, and it's a great catch by Phelan. Tough to single up against these guys.
That tackle on the kickoff was by tight end Peter Casparilla, who has been playing quite a bit here this afternoon because Gieselman has difficulty with an injured thumb, so they have been alternating. He delivered the lick. Now 23 seconds left for Kosar and all those talented wide receivers. Goes to Brown. Out of bounds at the 37-yard line. And at halftime, we're going to be talking about tomorrow's game, our season premiere, the road to Lexington, Kentucky in the Final Four. It's the Cardinals of Louisville against the Hoosiers of Indiana, and that will be followed by Notre Dame and SC. Got a couple of folks in the booth who've got some passions about that game, and we'll talk about it at halftime. Here's Kosar pulling out. A lot of time. Dumps it off incomplete. BC had 3 defensive backs standing back on the 20-yard line. They were not going to let Shakespeare and Brown get behind them.
Well, I'll tell you what, their coach, Jack Bicknell, would be very upset if they did. He has 9 seconds left. He's got 3 timeouts. Obviously, he has to get the ball downfield a deep way to be able to get the ball in field goal position.
Bernie had completed 11 passes in a row before that incompletion. He comes over to the sideline. And while we've got a break here in the action, let's take a look at these 2 campuses, BC and Miami.
Boston College, set in one of the world's most vibrant cities, a distinguished university in the unique Jesuit tradition. Boston College, offering talented students the most exciting educational experience for a rapidly changing world. Boston College, a proud tradition, a challenging present, a rewarding future.
This is the University of Miami. Florida is rapidly becoming a major focal point for international commerce, and the University of Miami is one of the youngest, yet it's the largest private university in the Southeast. The University of Miami has a lot to offer, with renowned programs in marine science, medicine and nursing, music, business, law and international studies, engineering and architecture, education, and the arts and sciences. The University of Miami, a global university in a global city.
And those 2 universities also have these 2 fine football teams. Bernie Kosar and the Hurricanes of Miami, with just 7 seconds to go in the half, trying to come back against BC. Complete to Brown, inside the 30. Stopped at the 19-yard line with time running out in the half. Thurman was on the coverage. There will not be any time left for the Hurricanes to attempt a field goal after that 45-yard gain.
Well, it was only 9 seconds when the ball was snapped. It wasn't quite enough time, but Bernie Kosar did the best thing he could do. He was to be able to get the ball to his big play man, Eddie Brown, hoping that he might be able to break a tackle or make something happen. But good, safe defense by Boston College. Number 17, Thurman there, to get some help, some teammates, and that's it.
And we'll return to the Orange Bowl after this commercial break and a word from your local station.
Oh, jeez.
The ghosts of Christmas past. Gifts given, received, and forgotten. They end up worthless junk in the attic. But there is one gift that's almost always worth more. A gold or silver coin. This $10 gold piece is now worth thousands. This year, for the first time, you can give Olympic gold and silver coins from the U.S. Treasury. And Olympic coins will still be valued when other gifts are collecting dust in the attic. Available at many locations, or call this number toll-free for information.
High atop Hawaii's Mauna Kea lies one of the world's premier spots for astronomical observation. And in Scotland, at the Royal Observatory, lies one of the world's premier centers for astronomical study. The problem is, they're 7,000 miles apart. The solution? A computer link, enabling the scientists in Scotland to control the telescope in Hawaii and retrieve the data in seconds.
G.
No, GTE.
This is CBS.
91 Bravo, proceeding on rescue training mission.
One weekend a month, you can take off for the beach, the mountains, or a drive in the country in the Army Reserve.
Subject spotted. Be all that you can be.
It's no picnic, but it's the kind of excitement no other weekend offers.
Mission completed. We're heading home.
And you'll still have 3 weekends a month to take off on your own.
You can do it in the Army Reserve.
Guess what I heard my babysitter telling her boyfriend? What? How quarter pounders are made. How? They're fried. But she said Burger King has a quarter-pound double burger, and it's flame broiled. Not fried.
Burger King presents Flame Broiled Doubles, the double hamburger, double cheeseburger, and bacon double cheeseburger. So you never have to eat a fried quarter pounder again.
What's wrong with frying?
Ed Williamson of Williamson Cadillac is a pretty mild-mannered guy. Rainy days don't really bother him. He doesn't get too upset when the Dolphins or Hurricanes lose. In fact, about the only thing that really gets to Ed Williamson is when somebody beats his price on a new Cadillac. Fortunately, that hardly ever happens. Williamson Cadillac, across from Dayland.
Tic-tac-toe, tonight at 7 here on Channel 4.
At the half in Miami, the Boston College Eagles lead the Hurricanes of Miami 28-21. And our big weekend continues here on CBS tomorrow. The season premiere of NCAA college basketball. It is the Louisville Cardinals against the Indiana Hoosiers. And following that basketball action, it's the classic, the annual confrontation between the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame and the Trojans of USC. But it is the road to Lexington that is on a lot of folks' mind, including Frank Lieber and Billy Packer. They'll be covering our first game tomorrow between Indiana and Louisville. So let's now go to Frank Lieber for a report. Frank?
Brent, we were just wondering if the two teams we're going to see tomorrow are going to score as many points as BC and Miami are today in the Orange Bowl. The road to Lexington does start tomorrow. It's here at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. Great matchup between Indiana and Louisville and Billy Packer. These are two clubs haven't seen each other for a long time.
Well, they really haven't, and that's almost unbelievable, Frank. When you take into consideration what great programs Louisville and Indiana have had, and the two outstanding coaches in Bobby Knight and Denny Crum have not faced each other ever, those two great coaches, and we're going to see it tomorrow, so it should be quite a battle.
Well, Indiana has everybody back, including Steve Alford, a preseason All-American, a sophomore who played on Bobby Knight's Olympic team, probably has seen more of Bobby in the last year than he has of his mother. And Billy talked to him earlier and asked him about the possibility of burnout.
I don't think so. I got to know the players awfully well over the summer, and we went through a very intensified summer, probably a summer that none of the players that we were associated with the Olympic team went through before. But I think all in all it helped our chances of becoming a better player and a better team player. And I think as far as any of our situations go, it's going to be better for us as an individual and a player.
You play for Coach Knight here at IU. Of course, he was the Olympic coach also. How about burnout on the part of the coach who didn't get that summer off?
I'm not going to answer for a coach. I let Coach answer his own questions. I think Sam Perkins' story in the Olympics out in L.A., he put his arm around Sam out there and said, just think you've got 10 days and Alford's got 1,000 days. And I went and saw Sam play in Indianapolis when the Mavericks were in, and he put his arm around me in the locker room after the game and said, hey, it's only 950 days now you got left. So I think we just teased a little bit about the coaches.
Okay, the Big Ten's got 37 of 50 starters back for this year. It's going to be one of the most intense Big Ten years of all time.
I think it'll be a very interesting Big Ten season. It seems to be all the coaches and teams are predicting the Illini and the Hoosiers, but I think there's a lot of sleepers. I think Ohio State's got some players coming back, and they can be a very good team, and Purdue's always a good team. So I think it'll be a very interesting Big Ten season.
Denny Crum, the head coach of the Louisville Cardinals, is with us. You start with a breather every year. Kentucky last year, Indiana this year. What is it?
Well, I've always felt that the whole objective of a coach should be to make yourself have the best possibility of having the best team you can have at the end of the year. And if we open with teams like Kentucky and Indiana, especially on the road, I think the thing that it does for you is you find out real early what you can and can't do. If I find out November 24th that we can't handle certain things, that gives me an extra month before our league starts to work out those problems. And so from my point of view, regardless of who you're playing, the better the competition, the better chance you have of being the best team you can be at the end of the year.
Denny, you were 4-4 at one point last year. That same thing may prevail this year. How much does it help to have one of those long-term million-dollar contracts?
Well, it probably helps, Billy. It just gives you a little security. I don't have to worry as much about the one-loss record. I mean, we still try to win every game. We're not going out there trying to give them away, but we're working as hard as we can work, and I think if you play our kind of schedule, at least at the end of the year, you have your best chance of being the best. It doesn't guarantee you're going to be good enough, but if you get through the kind of schedule we play, then you'll be competitive at the end.
Frank?
Thank you very much, Denny. Don't forget, tomorrow, Indiana, Louisville, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming up next, Brent Musburger with a preview of tomorrow's big game between USC and Notre Dame. Stay with us.
I need some last-minute gifts.
You?
Curtis Mathis backs everything with a 4-year warranty.
Everything?
Then I'll take these stereos, VCRs, cameras, portables, consoles.
How did you?
Everything.
Delivery and installation are included.
Oh, tonight I'll handle those details.
Of course. Hey! Merry Christmas!
When Teddy and I first started out in the toy business, we chose Nationwide Business Insurance. Now, we worked hard. And as we grew, a lot of other people gave us their opinions of our insurance plan. But none of them ever had a better second opinion than Nationwide Insurance. With Nationwide Insurance, there are no surprises. And the business without surprises is a real peaceable kingdom.
Nationwide is on your side.
Time dawn. Event Sears' biggest automotive sale of the year.
Okay, men. Time for one last run-through. Johnson?
All tires on sale, sir.
Martin? Wynn?
All shocks, 25 to 50% off, sir.
Wagner?
All car batteries, 15 to 25% off, sir.
The days ahead will not be easy, men, but I am confident that this will be the biggest automotive sale of the year. Our motto, men?
We install confidence.
Day and night, sir.
There's more for your life. Let's go to work.
At Sears.
The human hand. It's not flat, it's curved. And now finally, there's a glove built around it. Finally, from Wells Lamont, Grips. The only all-purpose leather glove with a patented pre-curved design for a comfortable grip that just won't give. Grips from Wells Lamont. Look for Wells Lamont gloves at the sign of the mule.
At the half, BC leading Miami 28-21. We've had 660 yards of offense. And on the field, the BC band. Let's go down and listen for a short time. BC band. And of course, tomorrow here on CBS, we have got the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame matched against the Trojans of USC. Our Pat O'Brien had an opportunity to talk to Notre Dame coach Jerry Faust in Los Angeles.
Let's talk about this contest tomorrow or on Saturday, because it really is historical, is it not? USC Notre Dame, it kind of gets the juices flowing.
It really is, Pat. It's probably, well, it is the longest intersectional football game and probably the most prestigious one of all. And a lot of great football players have played in it, and a lot of times it has determined the national championship. This year it won't, but still is one of the greatest college football games. I think it really epitomizes what college football is all about.
How do you look back at the season now? I know you're one that doesn't like to look back, but please try to do it. You know, in terms of the expectations were just so high for this team, your first real team here at Notre Dame.
Well, you know, we've done everything in the last 4 weeks. We've played in a pit down at LSU in the heat, 90-degree temperature.
Humidity.
And the humidity was high, and, you know, we played very well there, and then we come back in the last 4 minutes and play well against Navy and come into our own stadium, which we've had a lot of trouble in this year. It rained 3 straight Saturdays, and it rained after the game, too, the tears flowing, you know. But this team didn't fold because it's built with a lot of characters, a lot of great young men. In fact, every one of them are quality young men, and very proud of this football team. They've come a long way through a lot of adversity this year.
On the purely positive side has been your attitude through all this. On the negative side, I got to think that with a year left on your contract, it's going to start affecting recruiting. Are they going to wonder if you're going to be around?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think it will hurt recruiting at all, because I've had a couple young men ask me if I was coming back, and I said yes, and they said, well, if you weren't coming back, we're not going to come. And I says, well, you know, I'll be there for 1 year. A lot of young men, seniors in high school, want to come to help Jerry Faust. They want to be part of the cause. All this negative press that we've had has really helped us, because they're rallying behind the cause now.
Yeah. Rocky used to say an occasional loss is good for the soul, and too many losses aren't good for the coach.
I've had enough losses for the soul. I've been humbled enough, and I hope that I've handled that well, and now I'd like to see a lot of victories.
Starting with tomorrow against USC. All right, the former Irish coach, Ara Parsigan, and the man that did you in 10 years ago, the old Trojan quarterback, Pat Hayden.
You know, Brennan, we would have liked to have played Notre Dame every week when I was at Southern Cal, when Ara was coaching there. He made me a star, and I appreciate that, Coach. Thank you.
And thank you, Pat. I just want to know, you know, we've always got the short end of the officiating out there in the Coliseum. As a matter of fact, what I want to know is whether or not you're going to use your 100-yard field or your 97-yard field. 2 years ago, the Trojans fumbled on the 3-yard line, and we grabbed it. We would have won the game.
The official's name? Patrick Murphy.
Well, there you go. I mean,
they can keep on arguing about this all afternoon. We got some other business to tend to, and of course, not since 1966 have the Irish been able to beat the Trojans out in Los Angeles. And that game is coming up at 3:30 Eastern Time. And when we come back, we want to show you the Doug Flutie and the Bernie Kosar show, and we'll do that in just a moment.
One hot number is all you need. Domino's Pizza delivers. 30 minutes, fast and free. Domino's Pizza delivers. Quality is making it to your door. We're taking it. Domino's Pizza. 30 minutes, fast and free. Domino's Pizza delivers.
No problem.
America. America's driving, driving over. America's driving to Firestone.
Firestone's Drive Over Sale. Save up to 30% on tires, MasterCare service, batteries. Save on every size 721 steel belted radial from only $29.95. Plus, save on MasterCare awarded service, tune-ups, shocks, batteries, and more. Firestone's Drive Over Sale at Firestone now.
Firestone.
What does it take to excel?
I know the deadline. You'll get it tomorrow.
It takes speed, reliability, economy. It takes express mail next day service from the post office. Our 2-pound pack is just $9.35 overnight. And we deliver over 100,000 packages on time every day.
Yes, we got them. Oh, and Jerry, thanks.
Express Mail Service. We deliver excellence for less.
BC leading Miami at the half, 28-21. Last quarterback at bat may win this one, Pat Hayden.
Well, we have two very good ones, and you're absolutely right. And Doug Flutie had a very good first half. His statistics were absolutely phenomenal as you get a look at him. 20 of 27, 238 yards, a couple of touchdowns. And who he threw it to, this is the interesting thing, and this is what makes him so difficult to defend. Look at the way he spreads the ball around his wideouts, his running backs. He's hit the tight end a couple of times. Makes him very, very difficult to defend.
This was his first touchdown pass to Kelvin Martin.
And you're right. And Flutie on this drive had hit his tight end a couple of times and his tailback. He comes right back to his big play man, number 82, Kelvin Martin. The free safety was out of position, allowed Martin to get behind him for the touchdown.
And Aaron, you made a good point about the lack of containment against him.
Well, also, in this particular play, this is one of the few mistakes that Flutie made in this first half, and he scored a touchdown on it. He had his receiver Bell wide open. He elected to go ahead and run the ball, and I'm just thinking in terms of protection of Flutie. He's got a bowl game ahead of him, but he is really a tough little guy. He's quick, but I think he should have thrown the ball that time.
Now, what about the defense against Doug?
I think what I would do if I was Miami, they've got to bring pressure from the outside. I think they've got to keep him contained and bring the people from the middle getting their hands up. I think one of the problems is that he's been able to escape any kind of pressure on one side and come clean on the other, and he's so dangerous he's going to find a receiver.
And what about Bernie Kosar?
Well, things have gone according to plan. As Flutie has done his thing, so has Bernie Kosar, 245 yards. He also has 2 touchdowns, and he has distributed the ball around to a lot of different people. And here's the touchdown to his tight end, Willie Smith, number 84. Remember how big he was? He jumped up in the air. This drive saw Bernie Kosar hit Eddie Brown a couple of times, and then he's found his tight end, big tight end, in the back of the end zone for the score.
Now, how would you stop Kosar, Aaron?
Well, it's very difficult. They, too, have got to pressure him. I think they've got to come after him, take some chances. He has had too much time to throw the football, and as a result, he's been able to, without any question, complete passes and long, deep ones.
All right. Well, you know, a man who has marvelous remembrances of college football seasons past is Lindsey Nelson. And let's hear from Lindsey now.
If you have followed the game of college football for all your life, as I have, there will be special moments, very special moments, that will stand out. And for me, one of them came in the 1950s at Penn State, after a football game. I was there to do the telecast of a game between Holy Cross and Penn State. And my announcing partner was Red Grange, the famed galloping ghost of the Illini, certainly one of the most legendary figures ever connected with the game of football. The referee of the game that day, one of the top officials in the East, was Albie Booth. He was the legend of football at Yale. Little Boy Blue, they called him, because he was the personification of everything great about football, played by the boys in blue of Yale. Albie Booth was Frank Merriwell in the flesh. If you had followed college football, you knew all about Red Grange in the Midwest and Albie Booth in the East. They were immortals. Well, when the game had ended that afternoon, Red Grange and I walked over to the Nittany Lion Inn on campus to pick up our bags and meet the taxi that would take us to the airport. And as we were getting into the cab, I heard a voice say, "Can I hitch a ride to the airport?" And I turned. It was Albie Booth. I invited him, of course, to join us, and he started to climb into the cab. Well, I always assumed that everybody in football knew everybody else, and so I said to the two of them, "You two know each other, of course." They smiled, looked at each other, and said, "No, we've never met." And I said, "Then let me have the honor." So out there in the shadow of Mount Nittany, I said, "Mr. Grange, meet Mr. Booth." This is Lindsey Nelson with some of the echoes